In 300 days, we took this channel from zero to $270,000 in revenue, which rounds up to about $900 a day from the very first day of posting. And yes, it's not 300K a month, it's not some overnight success that others are showing you, but it was the result of a very systematic and careful approach that we take when we choose faceless YouTube niches. So I'm not here to promise you anything crazy. Instead, I'm here to show you a very realistic outcome of using a proven niche formula that I myself tested on 7 of our portfolio channels. Some of them generated $15,000 a month, others scaled to 30K a month, and our outlier channels did more than 50K a month at their peak. And to be honest with you, the niche formula I'm showing you today was so good that even vidIQ broke it down across 4 different videos. So today I'm going to give you the strategy, the AI tools with prompts, and even the exact niches I'm entering right now. So the first thing that you need to understand is the timing, because at the end of 2026, YouTube is going to pay 50 to 70% more for the same amount of views because of Q4. Q4 is when advertisers are spending all of the money that they have left for the year, and creators, because of that, are getting paid more. The RPM goes through the roof, but it's going to be competitive. So you need to know how you're going to beat competition, and depending on the level of the pyramid that you're entering, there are multiple different strategies that you can choose. But all of it only makes sense if you go the opposite way to where the crowd goes, because what everyone is doing right now is they're choosing the simplest niches possible. They're entering niches based on what YouTube or X is recommending them. They're finding saturated niches after 2 to 3 months, or even getting demonetized because of how simple the content they produce is. As a result, quitting and starting the same cycle all over again. So in order for you to solve this problem, you need to understand what I call the faceless YouTube pyramid. And this pyramid shows you why competing for 500 bucks a month is actually harder than competing for 50 grand a month. Now, we start at the very bottom, and very bottom is where 90% of all of the faceless YouTubers are, because for those niches, you need less than 500 bucks a month, and you don't need any prior experience to get some sustainable results with them. These are the niches like whiteboard, AI animation, AI footage videos, commentary, and some very, very simple VidRush channels. Again, you don't need experience, channels cost you almost nothing, and this is why there's thousands, maybe even millions of people who are doing it. And if your content, if your channel can be replicated in less than a day with a set of AI tools, you have to be prepared for it to get competitive extremely quickly. Because the way it works is the channel blows up, someone leaks it on Twitter, and then hundreds of people are flooding the niche thinking that they are not too late to the party. Most of them, though, are in fact late, but some of them are gonna take the piece of the pie that initially belongs to you. So even if you choose a niche on time, even if you enter it or create it, you're still gonna face competition because your channel is just too simple to copy. Now, an upgrade on that is doing something more branded and more complicated, like 2D animation that does not cost you much if you know how to hire AI influencers that obviously have more brand to themselves than just random faceless channels, whiteboard animations with some branded character in it, and more complicated VidRush channel. So as you notice, VidRush can be at the same time in 2 of those categories, and it really depends on the exposure that the niche gets. If the VidRush niche gets leaked on Twitter and everyone starts talking about it, obviously it will get saturated, even though VidRush has costs associated to that. But most of the VidRush niches will still stay at the middle of the pyramid, which is absolutely amazing. Now, in order for you to enter that stage, you would typically need a budget of $800 to $1,000 a month that you would spend on a VA, an editor, maybe a very simple animator. And this is where you're already in the top 9% of the market. And then goes the elite of faceless YouTube. These are the niches and channels that are dominating the space. There are giants and monopolies of their niches that, practically speaking, have no competition at all. This is the top 1% of all of the channels, and these are the niches that do require a budget and require some prior experience for you to actually make it work. Channels content categories are 3D animation, complicated 2D animation as well, top-notch documentaries, and channels with a face. Now, as you go higher on that pyramid, the complexity of your videos increases, meaning at every single stage it requires more and more time and money for you to produce content. But at the same time, the higher your production costs, the more complex your videos are, the less people are actually capable of replicating them. So even when your channel explodes and people are reposting it on Twitter, not all of them can enter your niche or copy your format. A good example of that is the channel that I showed you at the very beginning that generated us almost 300 grand. It got leaked on Twitter, and since then it probably got 2 extra competitors. For a channel that's been around and been generating billions of views for like 8 months, 9 months in a row, that's absolutely insane. Now, I also prepared a whole list of channel ideas for you at every single stage and level. So pro level, trust me bro, hoodie guy, almond the artist, and channels at the middle and the bottom of the pyramid too. Now, the way you should work with this pyramid is you have to honestly tell yourself where do you want to enter and what are the competitive advantages that you have in that particular niche. So in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how to dominate at every stage of the pyramid because the strategies are going to be different. It is actually the time to find your niche. And for this video specifically, I'm going to be using the assets that we have inside of the Niche Bending Marathon. This is a 3-day virtual event that I'm running on August 21st through August 23rd, and it has a bunch of sick bonuses that I'm going to be using in front of you today. So number 1, we would need the database of 100 niche ideas. Number 2, we would need a decision-making tree. And number 3, I'm actually going to use the art of YouTube AI. So let's get started with the database. I'm going to pull that up. As you can see, this is the workbook that every single attendee gets when they sign up to the Niche Bending Marathon. And one of the assets that they get is a list of 100 ready-made ideas. Now, I'm going to quickly scroll through the list and see what are the potential niches that I like from here. Let me load a bunch of others. And obviously I've seen some of those, but my team also put together a list of extras here. Let me see if I can find something that interests me. Let's look at this channel, for example, Stickman 600. Yeah, here we go. This is the kind of channel that I like. I think that we're gonna lock in this one as our channel reference. Now, what many people do is they blindly copy. They would look at this channel and be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do the same because it works. This is stupid strategy because you're entering the niche 2nd or 3rd or 5th and you're saturating your own market. Instead, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna niche bend this channel. So the database of niches provides us with initial inspiration, but from there, we're going to use the strategy for creating a blue ocean for ourselves, because essentially a YouTube niche is a combination of a format and market. So when we look at this, what is the format here? The format is a 3-way split thumbnail. The format is every someone's suit explained in 10 minutes. These are the formats, but what is the market? The market is Marvel. Now, when you break down a channel like that, when you understand that there is a format that made it go viral and there is a market that made it specific, now you can replace the market and reinvent the niche, creating a blue ocean for yourself. For example, I can take that format and bring it to DC. Instead of a Spider-Man, I can create a video on every Batman suit explained in 10 minutes, or every Joker's knife explained in 10 minutes, right? I can bring it to DC. Instead of DC, I can also do Lord of Rings, or I can replace that with anime. And I'm not a big fan of anime, so I have no idea like who are the characters, whatever. But if you are, then you're probably looking at this and you're like, okay, cool, I can replace this character with that anime character. And this is how you niche bend. This is how you create those niches. Now, on the previous step, we locked in the format. And if the format already works, we can bring it to the market where nobody is using that format yet. And this way we get a brand new niche with zero direct competition. And I got this strategy from a very insightful business book. Highly recommend you all to read it. It's called Blue Ocean Strategy. And my favorite quote from that is, the only way to beat the competition is to stop trying to beat the competition. Why would you need competitors on YouTube? It just sounds weird. Why would you become someone else's competitor when you can create unlimited new niches for yourself? Now, the whole idea and philosophy of the book is that instead of trying to enter oversaturating existing markets, you need to create blue oceans, untapped, uncontested markets and spaces where competition is irrelevant. A good example of that is Paint Explainer, who is probably an inspiration for by now hundreds of different channels, but they have this format, every something explained. They were one of the first ones to try it. And this channel, instead of blindly copying and doing videos on the exact same topics that Paint Explainer covered, they did the exact same thing in terms of the formatting, but they entered the space niche that no one was covering yet. As a result of it, you can see that in 3 months they had 3 videos that generated over 2.5 million views combined, which likely generated them about $10,000 from just 3 videos. And overall, in 14 videos, they got 3.8 million views, which is again absolutely insane. And this is the example of a proper niche band. Now, to niche band our channel, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the Art of YouTube AI. The Art of YouTube AI is something that lives inside of my cloud and that has access to my entire database of knowledge, hours of private coaching sessions that I did, and our database of over 1,000 niches that we use to educate the software on. Now, I'm just simply gonna use this prompt. We're gonna click generate and it will help me niche bend this channel. Now, let me quickly grab the link to the channel that we're now replicating. It will think for a second, it will get my profile, it will understand. As you can see, it's using Art of YouTube program now, and it will help us niche bend that channel. So here's the channel that I'm bending. Give me 5 niche bend ideas. And just like that, we got multiple niche band options. A couple of them I really like. We got Terminator. I don't think that Terminator is just as popular as Marvel though, so it can be one of the channels. Again, I don't know the Terminator's lore. Maybe it's bigger than it seems. Then we got James Bond, and this one is interesting because this one has older audience potentially. Jurassic Park, not my favorite one. This one's kind of weird. Dune could be a good one, and this one I like, Fast and Furious. So probably not the best one to run right now, but it gets to show that you can literally just change the universe, the movie series, and open yourself a completely new niche. And also, look at this, Art of YouTube MCP also checked what are the universes that are already taken. It shows me that DC, Star Wars, and Wizarding World are already taken, just as Star Trek and others, which is interesting because that's one of the niche bands that I would potentially consider. Now, in this case, I would just go with Dune, as this is probably the most popular one out of, or James Bond. Dune or James Bond are going to be the 2 options that I would potentially lock in from there. Now, the way we make a decision at this point is by using what I call the decision-making tree. So the way it works is you simply copy the link to the channel, you paste it to the spreadsheet, and you describe your niche band idea. Niche band into James Bond. And then what you need to do is to simply rank it based on the 7 criteria that show you how much potential the niche actually has. So the barrier to entry in that niche is going to be high because it's a whiteboard animation. The videos would cost you about 50 to 70 bucks to make, maybe slightly more, which will make sure that not every single YouTube creator can enter that niche. The trending niche is the validation phase, I have a whole video on different phases. So if you want to do that, go on my YouTube channel and check that out. Your personal interest, I'm a big fan of James Bond, so I'm gonna put obsessed with this one. Competition, none, because we have no other channels that are doing it right now, because we are niche bending. Market size is pretty big, and the longevity of that should be pretty stable as well. And the RPM potential is going to be high because it's an older audience that watch this type of content. With all of that in place, we can see that the spreadsheet gives us a green light and tells us that the niche is actually a good one for us to enter. Now, this is just one of the assets that you get inside of the niche bending marathon. This is also where you get a 2-week prep inside of the private Telegram group where I drop daily niches. But most importantly, we go live for 3 days in a row, and I help you choose a niche, then niche bend it and stand out from the competition. And I'm gonna launch a channel and make videos right in front of you throughout those 72 hours. The promise of that challenge is that you will find and lock in your faceless YouTube niche in 72 hours or less, and you can still grab a ticket by clicking the first link in the description. Now, I promised you the scaling roadmap depending on the stage of the pyramid where you are, and there's only 4 modes to faceless YouTube and 4 key barriers to entry, and depending on where you are on that faceless YouTube pyramid, you need to be using one or another. So let's say you are a beginner, you should be shooting for about $3,000 to $5,000 a month. In the red zone of the pyramid, it's very unlikely you will make more with a single channel. You can always run a portfolio of 10 and then by all means go make 15, 20, 30K a month. But with a single channel, most likely you're going to be anywhere around those numbers, and your biggest mode is speed. You need to ship videos fast, you need to be entering niches first, and if you can beat your competition with speed, most likely you are going to win. But if you take weeks to produce a simple AI video, and if you overthink the niche decision for ages, then by extension you cannot expect achieving this result, because speed is the only thing that can make or break your channel at this stage. Now, if you are at the yellow stage and if you are in the middle of the pyramid, then your biggest modes are the skill. Let's say you know something that your competitors don't. You are a mechanic and you make a channel on cars, and you just know more about the topic that you're covering. You got the skill barrier to entry. AI won't be able to replicate the depth of your understanding. Or another one could be the insider knowledge. Like in the body cam niche, if you get exclusive footage of all of those crimes and police chases, then you can be the first one to post them, getting the unfair advantage. Channels at this stage survive for longer. They monetize for 12 months and maybe even more than that, and they can easily scale to 10 to 30K a month. You can do that with a single channel, but also think about building a multi-platform brand, because nowadays you can be monetized across multiple platforms. But if you want to shoot for the pro stage, then you're going to be entering the 1% category, and this is where money and a combination of all of those 3 is your biggest mode. So you want to combine as many of those modes as possible, and most likely you're going to have 0 to no competition. This is where you can easily get to 50K a month and scale to $1 million a year if you run multiple channels like that. Those channels very rarely die out, and they stay relevant for years. Now, if you want to choose the best niche for yourself, depending on your budget, your skills, and your interests, then I built the niche bending marathon exactly for you. Because on August 21st through 23rd, I'm hosting the Q4 niche bending marathon for 3 days in a row. This is where we lock in niches for Q4, the highest RPM season of the year. And the schedule looks like this. On day 1, you will unlock Art of YouTube AI, our database, and my experience to find a format that works. On day 2, we're gonna niche bend it and choose barriers to entry that you will build to stand out from competition. And on day 3, I'm gonna give you the 10K scaling roadmap. We're gonna come up with ideas, write scripts, and make entire videos with AI to make sure that you ship them as soon as we finish the challenge. With all of that, you skip the trial and error stage, you skip the guessing stage, and you skip the analysis paralysis, getting right into the action quick. Because out of hundreds of people that we coached through Art of YouTube programs, I noticed that those who act with speed always win. All of it is going to happen live on screen, and you get to keep all of the SOPs and PDFs right after this event. And if you see the link in the description, it means that tickets are still available. Make sure to grab one on time, because the last time we ran it, after we closed the doors, there were hundreds of people messaging me trying to get one, but they couldn't, because we are not going to sell the recording and we're only allowing the entrance before the event begins. So the link to that is going to be in the description. This is likely the biggest event of the year that we've hosted, and I would absolutely love to see you there. Click the button below, also like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.